Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with me, your host Thomas Anderson, and tech wizard Abigail Mowat. We have a jam-packed show for you today, full of lots of delights, creamy, jammy delights, loads of chocolatey goodness. So, Abigail, how are you? You had a nice weekend?
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, on to our first conversation topic, as per usual. What have you been playing?
Do you want to answer that for me?
Fantastic. Now we'll move on to more important things like me.
I'm glad you find that funny. Someone should find your jokes funny. And it's you.
Hold on, I need to move around to see her face. I can't tell if she's actually annoyed or not. No, she's not. Good. We need a camera in here. Because I'm, sounding more and more mean and aggressive and...
Yes, a camera.
Yeah, we do. I think everybody would enjoy that. I have asked you a question though. What have you been playing?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody.
Fantastic.
This week I have been playing GTA 3 again. All celebrated the fact that I am continuing to play it, even though I find it very tedious.
Yeah, so just to fill in some possibly new listeners or our current listeners who have forgotten.
Because it's so tedious listening to me constantly gripe about it.
Sorry, what?
I have been playing GTA 3 because I am not a seasoned gamer. So the basics of the premise of me playing GTA 3 is to teach me the basics of gaming in general, because you said it was quite a good game to sort of get your head around how to use a controller and how the basic mechanics of a game are.
Yeah, because it's a really highly rated game from the time it came out, but the mechanics are quite simplistic, so...
Well, to teach me the basics, yeah. That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. And I'm just explaining why I picked that one, of all the plethora of games you have access to. Simply because Vice City, which is the other good game you've got, comes out after GTA 3, so you should probably play that afterwards.
I'm gonna question about that. So the mission I was stuck on last time that I had to keep restarting on, I had to get to an airport on the next island, and I can't for life remember what the island is called. Can you? The third island?
Airport Island.
The airport island, yeah. So I was having a lot of trouble because I had to take out the Colombians next to this plane, but every time I drove up, I was just basically getting shot at so many times that the car just exploded each and every time I ever tried and do this. Mm-hmm. So I was like, right, okay, what can I do? And this is when I actually started thinking about it, right, I've got airplanes around me and there's a hangar. I need to be able to shoot them, but I can't get spotted, so I need something from a far distance range. And I was like, my rifle with a sniper shot on it. Was it a sniper scope?
I'm not entirely sure if anything you just said was words. What is a fire distance range?
Shooting range. Like it's the range of shooting.
So you meant with a large firing range, a large operational range? Because I'm not entirely sure if the words you put together mean what you tried to say. So you're a long range weapon.
Yes.
So you required a long range weapon, and why did you require a long range weapon?
Because I had to shoot them and I couldn't be seen.
Right, nobody's going to understand the way you said that.
I was like, should I attempt a Scottish accent to see if that would help you understand it? I was like, that probably means
that'd be able to
come out as gibberish.
I understand because I talk to you most of the time, but people listening aren't going to understand if you go...
Right, they were in a hangar. I had to shoot them, but I could not be seen. So I had to think, right, I need something that I can shoot at a long range of, but not get seen. Sniper with the scope.
Yes.
which I found hilarious because for some reason I wasn't able to go under the plane, so I couldn't get proper coverage. However, I was able to shoot at them, and they didn't even attempt to shoot at me, even though they could clearly see I was in the direct line of them, the direct eye line of them, and they would not shoot, but they kept like popping up from behind crates, you know, like whack-a-mole.
So they were going into cover.
Yeah, but they would just pop up, pop back down, pop back down.
Did any of them come running out?
Nope.
Because there's an operational range on weaponry, so if they had a Tech 9 or something in that game, they wouldn't be able to hit you. And also there's a visual distance limit, really. They can't see you from too far away, but if you're shooting, they'll start reacting.
Yeah.
So it's possible that they just went into cover. They knew their weapons couldn't hit you, so they just stayed still, but they knew you were shooting, so they went into cover.
Yeah, but literally it was very easy.
That can happen. In more modern games, those guys would have come running out.
Yeah, well,
But
I'm glad that they didn't.
Well, no, because that would still have been easy, because me and Brian had a mission similar to that in GTA 5.
Yeah.
Where it was at the airport, and I went round the side of a hangar that we were supposed to break into, and it was for up to 6 people this mission, but you could do it with 2.
Yes.
So Brian parked his car on the runway, so he was like half a mile from the door to the warehouse.
Yeah.
Or not warehouse, sorry, hangar. And I was hidden round the side. So he took a shot at a couple of guys, and the 20 odd people that were in the hangar came running out.
Yeah.
Which meant that he was picking them off one at a time, and then I was behind them when they had no cover, because they were coming running out past the doors, past me.
Yeah.
So I gunned down a whole load of people as they came out, and he sniped the rest.
Yeah.
Your experience isn't... That's a bit simplistic.
Listen, I was really happy at the fact that I was able to work it out.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
And then I got
to you.
stuck halfway through the mission. I had to look it up. And that's what everybody else did. I was like, I'm so proud of myself. I was able to work that out.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that your experience might have been a bit simplistic, but you'll find that if that is the problem, that is the solution as well.
So, anyway, I had to get onto this plane to get some like contraband or something like that, but it wasn't there. So then I had to go to the next hideout, and I thought I had to go in the plane.
Right.
But I didn't. So I was literally just going around and around the airport in a plane, trying to take off, and then realised I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think you can fly in GTA 3.
Well, I thought I could, because there was a plane. But obviously I couldn't. So then I had to go to the hideout.
Were you literally just driving around the runways?
Yeah.
Right.
Like try and press like every button to see if I could take off, but no. Then I had to go to their hideout back on Staunton Island, which is at a construction site. So I got to the construction site, and they've put up like plywood to block a section off, and the idea is it's a bit like a maze, and you have to go through and you have to kill the Colombians as you go. But I just kept dying every single time I tried to do that. So my idea was, right, scout out the outer section first, run over the one Colombian I could find, go back, and then go round the plywood and just start chucking grenades in. I did that for quite a while, and then slowly went in just to make sure everybody was dead. And they were, so I was like, yay! I found another way. And then I go in, and then I finish the mission. And then I went back, and I had to go help the dirty cop get out of Staunton.
This is the mission where you just lobbed grenades over a wall.
Yeah.
You told me about that, yeah.
Grenades!
So
grenades!
then you moved on to helping Ray.
Ray, get out of town.
Yeah.
And
he's
that
the
was
one who gives you missions
yeah,
in
he's
a
the
bathroom.
dirty. He's the dirty cop.
No,
yeah.
but he's very dirty,
Yeah.
literally, because he gives you missions in a public bathroom.
Yeah. So I had 2 minutes to get him to this airport. But I kept failing every time because I couldn't go over the bridge because the FBI were waiting at the bridge. So I was like, oh my god, I don't know how to do this. So I had to look up how to do it, and the idea is you had to go down the subway and go down the subway tracks.
Right.
And I literally had 10 seconds to get him there as soon as I got to the subway tracks, and luckily I just got there with literally about 2 seconds to spare. But then he said something quite interesting, which is, I'll see you in Miami.
Right.
Is he in Miami Vice then?
Well, no, because it's not called Miami Vice.
Vice City.
Yeah, and Vice City is not in Miami.
I thought it was.
Miami is a city, so Vice City will not be Miami.
I'm sorry.
All the cities in GTA are fictional.
I keep thinking it's called Vice City.
Yeah, I think it's called. Is it GTA London or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
It was an addition for GTA or GTA 2 or a standalone game that used the same principles, but I think it's the only game set in a real city. Anyway, in the 3D era, there are no games set in real cities.
Okay. And then I found out who the new guy I'm doing missions for is. The beginning of a D. It's Donald Love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the guy that I had to help find the Oriental Gentleman for and also get these packages for. So that's all I've been playing this week. I've not done any more.
Okay.
So what have you been playing?
Well, no, we're not going to ask me that. I'm going to ask you what if you think you've learned more, how you're doing, what do you think of the game?
Well, I felt the fact that I kept dying when I went to go get the plane was annoying, but I was quite happy with the fact that I was able to suss out what it was I was supposed to do without anybody really giving me any hints.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to go, I looked up a walkthrough after that section because I wasn't entirely sure what to do. And everybody kept telling me I was just supposed to sort of use close range weapons to take out the Colombians when I get to sort of like their stronghold in the construction site. Uh-huh. But because I came up with my own idea of just chucking grenades in, I was like, oh, I'm so happy with myself. But
you've learned then if you're able to
I have learned.
Solution.
I feel was it last week I said I don't think I've learned anything, but it's stuff like this where I feel like, okay, I've actually learned something. However,
I don't think you've learned that in the past week. I think that it's just that this is showing you that you have learned.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. Most vociferously.
Well, oh God. I'm going to take that ramekin on the table and chuck it at you.
Anyway, come on, focus on your work. What were you saying?
I can't remember now. You distracted me so much, I can no longer remember what I was going to say.
Yeah, I was saying that you've learned, so how do you feel about what you've learned and what do you think about the game? Are you having more fun?
Well, no, I'm not. I just feel like it's finally getting to a conclusion now.
Right.
Because it just feels like everything's starting to wrap up a little bit more.
Okay.
Which makes me think, oh, thank goodness, I'm finally at the end of this game. So anyway, what have you been playing now? I'm sick and tired of talking about GTA for the day.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see that you're learning. And I reckon you're probably just not enjoying it because you're finding it frustrating, but that's the learning process. Big thumbs up. Enthusiastic green smiley face.
My green smiley face.
Because that's one of the ways in which you say positive. 5 stars. 10 out of 10.
What have you been playing? 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 Please distract me from GTA 3. What have you been playing this week?
So, I've got one small story about the crew, which I'm getting close to the end of, and it's frustrating me massively. You go around a corner that should be the same as every other corner in a race which should be amazing because you're driving through a forest of redwoods, and then you just spin out for no reason. Or I've been chased by the copperonis, and they caught me from about 100 yards back while I was doing 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Anybody want to explain that? It doesn't make any sense at all because that's not how the capture system works. They have to be within a certain range for a certain length of time. And if you're doing over a certain amount of speed, they can't catch you. So it didn't make any sense. I was quite angry at that. So it's frustrating me. But there was one little upside, which was a very quick story. I did a platinum crate. I remember the crates are the things from which you get fragments to unlock new cars.
Yes.
So sometimes you can buy new cars with in-game money, and sometimes you can unlock them by getting fragments from the crate runs. So I did a crate, and I was on a motorway, and I had to turn off the motorway, loop around the slip road, and go onto the bridge that led across the top of the motorway. Right?
Right.
Because you just follow the nav when it comes to the deliveries. And so what I did was I as I said, I turned off the motorway onto the slip road, went round a little bend, headed up towards the bridge, took a left-hander 90 degree onto the bridge, and just saw a cop car go floating past. Just over the top of the bridge and away, like the car for Grease or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, just away. It just disappeared into the sky. And so that cheered me up, I have to admit. There was another instance where that race with the redwoods really annoyed me, and I got so angry at it because it was just being random with the steering that at the end of the race I lost my temper, and instead of following the dirt track, I just ploughed straight through the forest and got a platinum medal because I cut out a massive amount of the racetrack.
You're a big cheat, aren't you, of cheating getting a medal?
Well, no, it was because...
Cheater.
It was really... No, let me explain, please. It was really... It screwed me over, to be honest, with how it was handling. I kept smashing into these trees, and then I'd do the exact same thing next time and not, but then smash into a different tree. It was really annoying. So I was having a good run until I went wide in this corner for no reason. So I thought, right, screw it, I'll just stay wide. And as long as you hit the checkpoints, you're not cheating. The sat-nav is just the road way of going. It's the quickest way. Sometimes the sat-nav itself will guide you across the land rather than along the road. So I just went, as the crow flies, straight down the hill rather than follow the road.
As the crow flies.
As the crow flies.
As the crow flies.
If he's crashing into trees and stuff. But yeah, I got it. I got it by only about a fraction of a second, but I got my platinum medal. So, if the game gives you lemon trees, then you make lemonade trees.
That's what made no sense, because nobody understands what we were talking about off camera, but off mic.
Just off the side.
There is this big tree. It's got loads of yellow things on it. It can't possibly be a lemon tree, because one, this is Scotland and we're now in winter.
We're not in winter.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. Trust me, we're not.
It's cold.
We're in autumn. Winter is January,
They're too big to be lemons.
March.
It's too far away. It's too big to be lemons.
Too big to be lemons?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
Too big to be lemons. Because they'd be tiny. They'd be tiny from this distance.
Don't you body shame that lemon tree.
I have seen a lemon tree. I have stood next to it in Greece.
Can I just point out, a lemon tree is not 60 foot tall.
Well, I don't know what... I never said it was a lemon tree.
It's next to a 3-storey building,
I never said it was a lemon tree.
No, but that sort of rules it out. It's nothing to do with it. Those lemons would be quite a size if it was it's a melon tree then. No, it's because it's 3 stories tall.
What kind of flower is it?
Is it in my garden?
No.
I am not. This studio is within vicinity of this magic lemon/melon tree. I'm not popping across to see where it is just to say, you go and do it. Right, when we're done here, you go and do it. And you can report back to the good people of YouTubia
I'm not doing
as to whether or not it's a melon or a lemon tree.
I never said it was a melon or a lemon tree.
If the lemons are too big to be lemons, they're logically yellow melons. What I'm saying is that if the game's mechanics don't work properly, sometimes you just have to find a way of manipulating them. I personally don't like doing it, but there are points where if a game annoys me, I'll do it just to annoy it.
Is this why you talk to me a certain way? It's because I annoy you, so you therefore have to annoy me?
No, I just enjoy annoying you. And I played I thought it would be a good idea to report back on a Halo Griffball match that I played on Halo 5.
What is that?
That's exactly why I'm talking about it, because I don't like talking about the same games over and over and over again, but when it comes to the crew, I'm getting close to the end, and when it comes to this particular instance of Halo, I've not spoken about Griffball matches before, and I kind of like them.
What are they?
So...
Yeah, I ask you a question and then you go off on a tangent.
Are we
this
married?
is why I've not said it.
I'm the boss.
This is why I've not said it.
I'm the chair. I'm the chair. We know what
Would anybody like to buy a chair?
Not a chair, I'm the chair.
Would anybody else like to buy a chair? Or actually just free. Anybody just want to take it away? Please.
Treating a human being like an inanimate object. What's next? What's next? You depraved human being.
You're the one who keeps going on about being a chair.
I weep for the next generation if people like you end up in charge.
You do realise I'm joking.
You did.
I'm joking.
I think that Griffball is fun.
What is it?
It's a game type in Halo 5 where you're armed with a sword and a hammer, and I think they've got unlimited ammo, which is weird because it's a sword and a hammer. And you've got reduced gravity, and I think in some instances increased speed, but I'm not sure about that. So sometimes you're floating around, bouncing off of stuff, and other times you're running and you've just got a good jump height or distance. And the aim is to pick up a ball that's in the middle of the court and take it to the other end and score a goal.
This sounds like a bit like Quidditch, but a lot less fun. And no broomsticks.
Well, no, because you kill people.
That can happen in Quidditch.
So sometimes you've got to throw the ball through a hole which is opening and closing. And other times you've just got to plant it in a small circle. But you have to be holding the ball. You have to hold the ball and stand in the circle. You can't die and throw it in the circle. You have to hold the ball and stand in the circle.
So you have to survive till you get to that point.
Exactly. Sometimes, like I said, you can chuck it through a hole that's opening and shutting, so you don't have to survive. You just get the ball in the hole. But
is that fewer points, is it?
No, it's different game types. Because you got Griffball Pro is the one I was playing, and you've got Griffball, I think. And this was Griffball Pro, and I'd never played Pro before on 5, and the reason I'm talking about it is because it was a lot of fun because I was the man in the match, basically.
Well done.
I got the highest KD spread, I think. Or at least I had a very high number of kills to deaths, and I got a hat trick. Because you had to get the 5 points, and I got 3.
Well done.
So yeah, essentially you just, 2 teams of 4, you run into the middle and grab the ball, and then you've got an increased run speed with the ball, but you can't attack as well. Because the sword has a lock-on for lunge, and the gravity hammer has an area of effect, whereas with the ball you just punch them in the face, so you're more limited that way. And so I just grabbed the ball and got myself a good few points. It was a lot more fun, as in challenging at the beginning, but by the end of the game, where we were 3-1 up or 3-2 up, their teammates started dropping out. So by the end of the match, it was 4v1. So I got a point or two. I think I actually scored 4 points because the last 2 points I spawned in, picked up the ball because my 3 teammates were up the other end, and this one guy was trying to fight them. So I would just stand there and wait until he got killed and then walk the ball into the circle. Whereas usually you'd have to find a sneaky way in, but because they had such a reduced number of teammates, I was able to just wait. So he was standing on the circle like, come on, try and get past me. And then my 3 teammates would appear and it would just be, nah. He'd have to run away or back off. I find Griffball and Griffball Pro to be quite fun to play. Because it's a wee distraction from the monotony of just killing people over and over again. Just that different objective. It can be a bit tedious when you get spawn killed. They sort of camp on your spawn sites, but...
I'm just laughing at the fact that you said, it gets a bit boring killing. It gets a bit tedious.
I don't know how these mass murderers do it, but I just thought it would be a bit fun, so I gave it a go, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I got a whole host of special medals because, I got like a hat trick of scores.
Yes, well done, well done. Let me clap. I so wanted to sing the theme tune.
Can you sing as well?
I was literally really wanting to sing the theme tune to Friends there, but I was like, no, that's copyright.
Can you sing as well? Seal.
What? I can't make a seal noise.
Oh no, he did it!
That was weird.
Yeah, right, so... but what I've actually been doing is I watched the first couple of episodes of the season 2 of Castlevania.
Well, I didn't even know it. When was it released? Last night?
26th of October.
I'll tell you why. I was busy watching Sabrina. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That's why I didn't notice it.
The reason that we're talking about Castlevania is because Castlevania is based on video games made by Konami called Castlevania.
Yes.
And
I've seen people play it.
Had sort of mixed reviews, I think.
I think so, yeah. From what I've heard, some were really good, some were just panned.
Yeah, but what I would like to see is some of those games, because if they took the lore from the games to make this, I would like to see that. But because Castlevania 1, we've both seen that. That was really
I
gripping.
can't remember what happened.
Okay, well, I found it really gripping. I've been waiting for season 2 since season 1 was done. They got surprised by how well received it was, I think, because they only made 4 episodes of it for season 1.
Yeah.
And then they had to suddenly sit down and write season 2 as soon as possible because they I don't think they'd been expecting how well received it was going to be. And I really like what I've seen so far about season 2. They're really opening it up.
Yeah.
And I think they might be setting out a stall to make a few seasons
That's
of this.
good. Because what I will say is that in the past, when something's been adapted from a video game, it's just been terrible.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because do we need to mention the Super Mario Brothers movie? No, we do not. But I have.
But you have.
But I have.
And now I can see the sky darkening and plagues of locusts arriving. Maybe they'll deal with the flies. We're all going to die. Well done. You are the 4th horseman of the apocalypse.
No, my cover's been blown. Take him now.
What's going to take me? A plague of snowman creatures?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, sorry, I didn't realise I'd get that so quickly. I think
Bunch
they're
of
just...
Olafs.
I think they're just opening it up much better. They're really expanding the concepts involved.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Because most of it's set in 1476, but the opening for season 1 is 1455, I think.
Okay.
And the opening for season 2 is 1475.
I've honestly not watched it since it was released.
I've watched the first season 3 times.
I think the only reason I kind of wanted to watch it was because it was an anime, and I really like anime.
No, I really, really like the cast they've hired, the writing, the direction involved. I'm a bit worried because the first season was so good, and I'm worried that they might delve into their own, like, what made this good? It was this, so we'll just play into that, and it might not be as good, whereas the first one was just purely what they wanted to do,
right?
Natural. They might try to edit their creation process by filtering it through what they think people want.
Okay, so
that's a worry for everything when something else comes out after people have reviewed.
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
But I am genuinely liking a lot of the added characters and a lot of the added story plot points. They're building the world up as well.
Yeah. Because I've never played it. I've seen people play a game. I think it was. Please tell me this is a real game. Castlevania Shovel Knight. Is that a real game? Or have I just spliced 2 games together?
You've just slammed 2 games together. Shovel Knight
is something else.
Is a knight armed with a shovel.
I thought for some reason that there was a game out there called that.
Well, there might be a crossover for, like, you can play Shovel Knight dressed up as a character from Castlevania.
Do you know what I think it was? I think I was watching somebody play Castlevania, then immediately watched them play Shovel Knight, and maybe that's where I'm getting confused.
Right, okay. But I don't think this is based as in it's just taken from the game. I think it's just somebody played the game and thought, oh, imagine if we did this story.
Oh, so it's like an in-name only kind of adaptation, do you think?
It doesn't say...
In spirit.
I would say it's inspired.
Okay.
I just... From what little I've seen of those games, this doesn't necessarily ring true, but it could be.
Okay.
It could be that the setup for both is the same, and then they diverge in what happens afterwards. Or maybe this season explains something that they don't touch on in the game. I don't know.
We shall find out, or you will find out, because I've never played a game, but I will watch the season.
Well, I don't know, because I'd have to play the game to then...
I thought you'd played the game.
No, I've not played them. I said what little I've seen.
Oh, sorry. My mistake.
I think like I said, the voice acting is great, the writing is great, they play into the characters which have multiple facets. So it's not just it's not like a hero just standing in the corner being quiet and then going, let's go. It's more than that.
Okay.
You know? So the characters are like an Avengers team each when it comes to their facet. They're really cool characters as well.
Alright.
And there's a couple of inspirational men and a couple of inspirational women.
You're looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it.
Okay. Shall we move on to the next news item?
Well, the actual news.
You've literally got news written down and then Castlevania written under that.
Yeah, I just wanted to remember to say my stories, but that's that done. Now on to the news. Now, Assassin's Creed Odyssey has come out. It's been out for a while, right?
Yes.
At least a few weeks, I think.
Yes.
But we've been prepping this piece for a little while. It's just we've never been able to fit it in because there's been quite a lot of news in the past few episodes. But now we can fit it in. What we did was that both of us watched the same gameplay video
of Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yes, done by
Giant Bomb.
With Alex Navarro and my personal inspiration in life, Vinny Caravella.
I don't watch them.
Well, you watched this one.
I watched this one.
And we thought, because the reason I came up with this idea was because I did watch that video by myself and my brother watched it, and we both had the same thought. And I want to know if you had it too, but it might be different for you because you're not a gamer, or because you've not played the previous games, or because you're a woman, or because you're an idiot. What was your thoughts based on what you saw of the hour and 27 long video?
I'm going to ignore the woman comment. My thoughts were...
No, it could be that you view it differently because you're a lady beast.
My thoughts were... It's a game.
You're fired.
My thoughts were... I didn't really know what to think of it, to be perfectly honest, because...
What do you remember of it then? Let's start there.
Well, I remember that you can choose to be either a man or play as a man or a woman.
Yes, Alexios or
Cassandra. Cassandra. And you're sort of in debt to this guy, like he saves you when you're a kid. And
yeah, it's not financial debt. It's
personal. Like you saved my life. Now I'm indebted. Sorry, he's indebted to that person.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you're having to go collect money or something. It was an hour and a half long video. There was a lot that happened, but there was also a lot that didn't happen. There was a lot of running around on a horse, galloping about, riding a horse, I should say. He shot some goats.
What? He chopped them up. I don't think he shot them.
With an bow and arrow, he shot them. Oh, shot a goat.
I'm sure he did.
He also climbed a statue.
Which
was very, correct statue.
An anatomically accurate statue.
Yeah, they were actually discussing whether or not this was a real statue that's in Greece. That's possibly, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if it is. But that would be quite interesting if they actually incorporated real structures in Greece that have since obviously crumbled away to nothingness.
They did that in the previous Assassin's Creed games. There was the database, and you would run around, and any time there was a famous building, the database would flash up on the screen.
Cool. That's interesting. That's cool. So you can go in real life and visit these places.
I stopped reading the database after the Ezio games, so I stopped using that a while ago. It
was very pretty, the game.
But I that's disappointing me because I couldn't. Maybe I missed it, but I couldn't see a database flash when he went up to the statue, and maybe they've taken it out.
I don't know if they have or they haven't. I wasn't...
Yeah. Maybe they took it out for the previous
I was just listening to those two just laugh at the fact of where they were hanging from. And I'll tell you what's up, basically they had to get to the top of the statue, and the statue's hand is pointed out, shall we say, quite high above its head.
No, it's a Zeus statue, so that's a bolt of lightning.
A bolt of lightning, my mistake, sorry. So he has to get to the very tip of it, but he falls off and does damage. However, at the end of this, I don't know, this... Is it like a memory or something that he has at the top of it? Something happens. He has to get to the top for a specific point.
It's called a synchronization point, and it basically allows you to view a certain area of the map. Okay,
but after he was able to do that, he literally just swan dived into some shrubs and survived, no health damage whatsoever.
Yeah, he jumped about 100 foot into a shrub.
I was just so let me guess, you fall off, you'll lose a lot of health. You swan dive off into a little shrub, and you're fine.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Well, that is Assassin's Creed.
It's just literally a swan dive.
In the very first game, you could climb the cathedral in Accra, and you could jump off the very tip of the cathedral into a hay bale.
Yeah.
And that cathedral's several hundred foot tall, I think.
Yeah, but I didn't really understand. I kind of understood what was going on. For an hour and a half, the main story didn't develop as much as I thought it was going to develop. I thought more would happen because these are season gamers. I thought they would just breeze through it, but they were doing a lot of side stuff as well.
I know.
But I didn't really. It just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't my kind of game to watch. I don't know. Maybe it gets more fun as it goes along. It looks nice. The effects look really good. But again, I don't know if this is just like a game thing, like in most games which are made this way, but their eyes just drift off in like the weirdest directions.
No, I think that...
It's like, ugh.
Yeah, that was a particular problem with that video. I think it was the game, is that the characters either were gesticulating wildly, or were essentially motionless and were just looking at the ground like they had just seen their children gutted in front of them.
Yes, basically, yeah.
It was a strange combination.
Yeah, also there's a part where you have to choose a horse to go ride about on.
Yeah, it did.
And it doesn't matter which one you choose, it's always called the same thing. I'm like, well, you could have at least done a little bit more detail with that.
I don't mind the horse having a different name, the same name, sorry. What annoys me is the horses aren't structurally different, you know? There's no real indication that this horse has more courage. But how does that actually affect the gameplay? It probably doesn't, so why is that being mentioned? Really what we're picking here is 3 different colours of horse.
Yeah.
So I don't
Which
know
one's
if I
the
like
prettiest
that.
horse?
Yeah. I like the inventory system, the fact that you can equip stuff.
It also seemed to be that you could just go about killing anything and everything and there's no real consequence.
Oh no, that's just because of the stage of game they were at. They mentioned the bounty system. Their bounty, because they were still in that tutorial phase, was locked at 1.
Yeah.
Whereas if he kept killing normally, he'd have hundreds of bounty hunters chasing him.
Okay.
So I think there
is...
is...
yeah, I remember now. Yeah, he said that he had about 30 people chasing after him at one point.
Aye. I like the side missions, how you're given a real choice between good and evil. It was a bit more Mass Effect-y to a degree. How, you know, he was able to be kind to one woman but then shout at the other one and shoot her in the bottom with a bow and arrow. I loved that response when he shot the woman in the bottom with a bow and arrow during the mission, so that it wasn't like a normal interaction. So she just went, ow! And then went straight back to what she was doing. The stealth mechanics look the same as normal. I might have liked a little bit of an upgrade to them.
This is when he was like hiding in the shrubs and like whistling and...
Yeah. I've not played Syndicate or Origins, so I think I need to play those before I could judge it, but it looked like it could be better. I like the fact you've got loads of different weapons and loads of different skills.
Yeah.
I really want to try and Spartan kick stuff off of high ledges. But I don't know how they balance some of the things that I know I liked that other people didn't. Because the last one I played that was Unity was a disaster for me. I hated it. I really did. I absolutely despised it. And so they need to have made you feel more powerful for me. I like the look of it. But one thing I don't like... So basically what I was getting at here with the Odyssey was I watched that video and me and Brian had the same genuine reaction, which was for the first time in a long time we looked at an Assassin's Creed game and thought, I really want to play that. We'd played the other ones because we had them, but since about Black Flag we've never looked at gameplay footage and thought, I really want to play that.
Was there any specific reason for why that was your initial... Was this just from watching the trailer, or watching the
gameplay video? I genuinely think it's because of how RPG it is now, how much freedom you've got, how much...
It's more open.
Yeah, you can... if you had made another Ezio game in the same style, I'd still want to play that. But I just think that the styles they picked got ridiculous with Unity and just weren't very... I didn't enjoy them. And they needed a change from Black Flag. And I just like how there's lots of exploration you can do, how there's lots of people you can interact with, there's lots of side missions you can do, and you can actually choose how you do them.
Yeah, I think that's because it felt like it was taking forever to get to one place to another, which means that there's a lot more to it. You can go a lot more different places and like you said, side missions. I think what it is for me is like I need to be told, right, you need to do this, you need to do that. I don't like having that.
I think you don't like the player agency because you don't know what to do with it yet.
Yeah, I just it's a bit overwhelming for me. That's one of the reasons why I don't like to play it, because I'm like, oh, there's too much.
Yeah. But I don't like a lot of added in rubbish from like collect all these feathers, for example, for people who've played Assassin's Creed 2, even though I did it. I don't mind some of that, but when it's like collect 600 of these and 400 of these and 700 of these, it's like, no.
It's like with going back to GTA 3, I'm not doing the telephone missions.
Yeah.
Because I just can't do it. Like that first race, and I'm just like, I'm just going to ignore the 100% completionist.
No, that's fine. Like I want to do these side missions because, in previous ones with Ezio, the side missions were either fun or they were short. And I liked that.
Yeah.
And I keep going back to Ezio because he's my favourite, and those are my favourite games. And these ones are different because you've actually got a choice. Are you going to be a good guy or a bad guy? And I think that's what interested me.
Yeah. You
can actually go in and be a good guy or a bad guy. I like the good guy stuff.
Yeah.
I like going in and helping people, and I like that. And my brother, I've not played it yet myself, but my brother's spoken quite highly of The Witcher 3, and he said that it looks as it's Assassin's Creed Witcher. That's what it is. And that made me want to play it. It's got a crafting system now as well. I think they had that in the previous game where you can make items that you need.
Yeah.
In previous crafting systems, it was you make an ammo pouch so you can hold more ammo. In this one, you actually like make arrows so you can fire arrows.
Yeah.
So it's not an upgrade crafting system. It looks like it's an actual usable item crafting system, which I quite like the idea of. I don't know how much money is involved in the game. Be interesting to see if they went back to a sort of Ezio style system where you could actually like own businesses. So
he does all these side missions. He's got like a little side business going on.
Yeah, he does. He owns like blacksmiths and painters and stuff like that, clothiers, like the occasional prostitute. It's interesting to see what they've done here, but I really do. I just wanted to explore that world, and I love ancient Greece, so I just wanted to go and explore it, and it looked like something you could explore, and you could actually make decisions.
Yeah.
So if your character's rubbish, that's fine. You create the character yourself.
Yeah, I do love ancient Greece as well. I love the ancient Greece stories and things like that. Like I love ancient Greek myths. Yeah. Like,
well, I think, like I've said this before, I think they tie the myths in.
Somebody said something about a minotaur, didn't they?
Yeah, they don't know if there's one in it or not, but they were. I think what they do is they tie the myths in because so advanced technology that people don't understand yet would appear to be mythologically magic in origin.
Yeah.
So that's maybe how they do it. So there's so if there's like a mechanical bull that stands on its back legs, that might look like a minotaur.
Right. So it's real world scenarios, but they're taking not scenarios. Sorry.
Well, no, I don't know, but I'm saying they could do that, or they could just have an actual minotaur in it.
Okay.
And then you just wipe them all out. But because it's not entirely real world because you've got some magic abilities.
Somebody says, "What is the Cyclops thing? Do you know? Is this an actual Cyclops or is this like a gang called the Cyclops?"
Oh no, the Cyclops is a man. He's just called Cyclops because I think he's got one eye.
Ah, okay.
They explained that in the video. He's just a.
Oh, I must have missed that. Sorry about that.
But he's not.
I understood it was a moneylender, but I didn't actually admit. I didn't know if it meant a real Cyclops or if it was a gang.
Well, if it's a real Cyclops lending money to people, that is a weird career change. But
I don't know. Maybe the Cyclops is not that massive. It's not a giant. Just like normal size, like in like was it Shrek 2 or something like that?
Oh, aye, yeah. The sort of ogre-sized Cyclopses rather than the Hercules one, which is hundreds of feet tall.
Yeah, like the stop motion one.
Aye. But yeah, it's. I just really want. I think it was the exploration, the ability to create your own character, to do some good if you choose to. The fact that you're in ancient Greece, I think
you just
that's
like
what
the more
made me
freedom.
want to play it. Yeah. Well, no, I don't like the more freedom. What I like is the fact that I can make my own character. I can actually do some good, and if the story is crap, and if the character's rubbish, I can sort of manipulate that. I've got my own freedom in it, and I can explore it, and I can ride it. I can just stand on the edge of a beach and watch the sea lap. I felt, yeah, you're right. I did feel a sense of freedom, but I think I don't want to offset that against Ezio's games where they were more directed because I loved those games. But I think that was brought up by the setting you were in, which was ancient. Which was Renaissance Italy, and the characters.
Yeah.
In this, I'm not sure if the characters are going to have as much of a bite. So I was more reliant on the setting making you feel free, so you can get away from that if it's a limiting factor, and it feels more free from what I can see. So I think that's what attracted me to it. I also like the idea of that you're able to kill people, and the game it would flash up on the screen, this ancestor did not harm civilians.
Yeah.
And if you keep killing people, you get desynchronized. So the game basically kicks you out. Whereas in this one, it looks like you can do it and it punishes you by having a bounty system.
Alright.
I think it might have been the same for the previous game, Origins, but I never played that. So it just looks like it's a bit of a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing to talk about is the genders of the people involved in the game. Cassandra and Alexios.
Yes.
Like, if you pick the female, you go Cassandra. If you pick the male, you go Alexios, and that's the way that it is. Now, I think that the question is, an awful lot of people who have picked Cassandra have said she's the better character than Alexios.
Why?
And they just say that she seems cooler and more interesting. Alexios seems a bit naff. Now...
Oh, didn't was it Giant Bomb say that the voice actress for Cassandra was a bit more, not so much believable, but...
Better,
basically better. And the guy who plays Alexios kind of hams it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's not his fault though, that's direction. And this is what comes to the last debate point for Odyssey. When females were arguing that there needed to be more female characters in games, a lot of the counter argument was that men didn't want that because they were worried their male characters would get worse. And this was ridiculed. And people were saying, look, we're not wanting to make your male characters worse, we just want some female characters in there as well.
Yeah.
Now, here's a prime example of where they seem to have made a rubbish male character by not putting enough effort in, and they've put the effort into making a good female character. It's an example essentially of all of those people who were worried about losing their characters, their good male characters, actually happening.
Yeah.
And I've always supported more female characters in games, so I feel a wee bit stabbed in the back. Because I thought, well, as long as you don't ruin the male characters, then yeah, let's add some female characters. I always supported the idea of more good female characters in video games. Especially in an RPG like this, where you can sort of create your own character a bit. And I feel quite annoyed, a little stabbed in the back to be honest, that they seem to have put less effort into the male character so they can put more effort into the female one, because there's such a disparity in how good one character supposedly is over the other that I can't help but feel that that's when they must have done that. They must have put at least more effort into making Cassandra, from the point of view of even just I think that voice actor could have done a good job. It just looks like he's not been given the direction he needed.
Right.
It looks like they've taken lower quality sound recordings where with Cassandra they would have turned around and said, no, we need you to do this again. With him they've just gone, no, it's fine, whatever. And I feel a wee bit stabbed in the back because of that, and also I don't like the fact that so many people consider it absolutely fine that Cassandra is clearly a better character, where if it was the other way around everybody would be going mental.
Right. Yeah, probably. With today's climate, yeah, that's what would happen.
So I'm a bit upset. So for that reason, I decided that I'm not going. When I play this, I'm not going to go Cassandra, even if she is better, because that would be supporting something that I don't really agree with. You know, if you can't have a worse female character than a male character, you can't have a worse male character than a female character.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like you're going to have minor discrepancies, differences, personal likes and dislikes, but you cannot have this where they're basically saying they've created a worse character by not putting enough effort in. That's unacceptable. And so even if it is technically a more annoying, worse character, I will go Alexios. Because I wanted to go a man anyway. You know? Because that lets me.
You can immerse yourself in the game more.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no problem with like Tomb Raider games where you're Lara Croft. If you write a game with a female character, one of my favourite ones is Remember Me, female character. Absolutely fine, no problem. If you give me a choice, I'm probably going to make a character like me.
Yeah,
maybe with a little
same.
bit,
Yeah,
maybe with a little bit of variation, but I'll probably try and think of me as the character.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm getting to make choices in the game. And
yeah, I would do the same. Yeah.
And I just feel that here they seem to have deliberately made a worse character by not putting enough effort in.
That's sad. No, I'd be annoyed if it was the opposite way around. I'd probably have the exact same feelings.
But what really frightens me is the fact that nobody else seems to have them. Other people are reporting, oh, she's obviously the better character, and then giving a wee giggle. It's like, why is this okay now? It's just, if you would go mental the other way around, you have to go mental this way around.
I think there should, if the female character is very good, then the male character should also have to be very good. And I would say these,
it's like it
should be equal.
You know what it's like? It's like they built the game to be played as a female character, but then they thought, well, we could make it a male character as well. Or maybe they thought we'd always have to have a male character, just in case there's some people who don't want to go women, but it's primarily meant to play as a female character.
Well, if that's the case, they shouldn't have had an option. You should have just been able to play as the female character.
But it's supposed to be a sort of self-guided experience, so
yeah.
You sort of have to give people the right to choose their gender. And I think that's why they did it. Get player agency. I think it's also, if you say we've made this character and it's you've got to go a woman, there's a small chance some people won't buy it. So they've probably added it to get those people to buy it, but then punished them with a lesser character. And I would have bought it anyway. If you'd said this is a female character, I'd have been annoyed from the point of view of the lore of Assassin's Creed, but that's something you'll learn when you play them. I won't give that away, because I think it's a bit of a hole in the lore if you can go a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to go a woman, I'll play it. I have no problem with that. But you can't make me go a woman because the men you gave me are rubbish.
Yeah.
Fair enough if there are 6 different characters, 3 women, 3 men, and the only decent one happens to be a woman. That's just you making bad characters. But if you clearly have built a game to be played as a certain character, but you've thrown the other one in there for no reason, and I'm going to want to pick that other one because it helps me immerse myself in the game more, that's really annoying. Because then I know no matter what I do, my immersion's not going to be quite as high. Because whenever I play as a man, sometimes I can associate with the man. When I play as a woman, I don't. I think I'm just hearing another person's story.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's 2 different ways of enjoying it. But I prefer slightly being the character myself. Like being able to think of myself that way and immerse myself a bit more in the story. And if you've deliberately given me a worse character for it just gets to me. It's just so annoying. Because I'm forced to make, immersion, but then the immersion is going to be destroyed because this character's rubbish, or lack of immersion, and I'm going to be annoyed because I couldn't pick the immersive version because they're just not bothered to do their job properly. Oh God, it's just, it strikes me as the sort of thing when it comes to these 2 characters that people should be upset, but they're not. And the reason that they're not, that they'll give, is, oh, what a shame that the men don't have a good character. Whoa. Now you know what it feels like. Well, that's not a good defence, because if you're arguing equality, that's definitely not it.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit... It's really... maybe I'm just being overreactive or oversensitive, but it's really wound me up, that. Maybe it's because I supported it for so long and now it's slapped me in the face. Maybe that's why.
I don't know.
I said earlier I supported having better female characters because I didn't believe that would innately damage the male characters, and now it has from the looks of it. Maybe that's why I feel upset about stabbed in the back, but we'll move on. Actually, no, we won't. What's your opinion?
On the quality of characters, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe if one gender is good, then the other gender should also be good. I totally think that depending on the gender, the character design or direction should suffer at all.
Yeah,
should be equal.
If you make a game and you decide to put two genders in, they should be as good as each other.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes.
You shouldn't make a game and clearly try and get people to do one or the other. Just direct them rather than do that. And people should be a bit more annoyed about it, to be honest. What do you think about the actual character we saw? Because what we watched was Alexios. He does seem a bit weird.
Full on, quite full on, and I don't know if it was direction of the voice, but it's quite unimmersive.
It alternates between really hamming it up and severe psychological trauma. Like he's either just staring at the ground in pure silence, or
because that's the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, but that's part of the character.
Yes, but I think that's the same with all the characters. I feel like
it's the same with non-playable characters are different from characters that you play as.
Yes, I understand that, but I thought you meant just everybody.
No, I'm talking about the playable characters specifically, and I think that when she does it, she comes off as a bit cooler. When he does it, he comes off as being haunted by the visions of his past. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he should be seeing a doctor regularly, whereas she apparently comes off as looking a little bit more like she's just dealt with something and now she's moving on, you know?
So that's my opinion.
Just to clarify, I don't think people who need to see a doctor are uncool, but when you've got somebody who's supposed to be a trained soldier, who's supposed to be able to cope with this sort of stuff, and then they're sitting there just like, I'm absolutely fine, staring at the ground, how are you doing?
It's a weird character mechanic design.
You're basically watching a nervous breakdown, and it's not supposed to be there. That's the problem. It's not supposed to be a nervous breakdown, but that's what you're watching. Anyway, that's the end of what I have to say. We're now going to move on to our penultimate story, which is Call of Duty Black Ops 4 sales numbers. Call of Duty sales numbers, physical copy sales, have been in decline for a number of games now. Black Ops 4, the one that was released recently, is down 59% in physical sales compared to Black Ops 3. Mm-hmm. Now, it had a higher pre-order number than previous games, but a far lower non-pre-order sale number. Do you know the difference?
Explain it to people who may not know the difference.
You can basically pre-order a game, which is before it comes out, you can buy it, and you usually get a little bit of a bonus for doing that. And obviously a non-pre-order sale is just walking into a shop and paying for it, or you buy it online.
Yeah.
Digital copy.
Okay.
So basically one is buying it before it came out and one is buying it after it came out. Sort of like if you booked cinema tickets before the movie was
Yes, I do know what a pre-sale is. I do know what that is.
Well, you said explain it for people who might not.
Yeah.
So I came up with a good, just shut up. Anyway, so Black Ops 4 physical sales, they had good pre-order numbers, but they've since had terrible sales numbers since then.
Yeah.
And it's down 59% in physical sales compared to Black Ops 3, which was the last Black Ops game. And 50% compared to the last year's Call of Duty World War II, which was the last Call of Duty game. Currently, Call of Duty World War II is the only COD game since Modern Warfare 3, released in 2011, and this is a yearly game to avoid the sales slump. So year on year, the number of sales goes down with each Call of Duty game. World War II was the only game to bring that up. Yeah. But it still obviously was significantly lower than Modern Warfare 3. Mm-hmm. And it appears that the 59% decrease in sales compared to Black Ops 3 physical sales has not been made up. And it appears that the slump in physical sales, the fall, is down 59%, like I said, compared to Black Ops 3. That fall in physical sales has not been made up for by the number of digital sales. So there is an overall decrease in in sales figures. Right. They've not said that yet, but if the makers of Black Ops 4 could tell you the numbers had gone up, they would have. Mm-hmm. So it
any
would
reason?
Appear,
is there any real reason for why this has happened?
Well, I just want to put the sales in context. In context, the physical sales of Black Ops 4 compared to Modern Warfare 3's physical sales, when the slump started, the last peak, it's currently at 10%. So the physical sales of Black Ops 4 is 10% the numbers of Modern Warfare 3's physical sales.
Whoa.
So Call of Duty's in basically terminal decline. What they've tried to do, you asked me why.
Yes, why is there any reason for why this has happened?
I think that it's been in decline because the games have been very similar year on year.
Right.
So they calculated that the majority of people who were buying the game to play multiplayer were the people who were constantly buying the games.
Yeah.
And I think that they were right. The vast majority of their sales was that. So they cut out single player and put in a battle royale. Now, I think they have made a catastrophic error there. And I think the catastrophic error is that nobody buys Call of Duty just for the Black Ops. They buy it for the Blackout, sorry. They buy it for the multiplayer. Or single player. And I think they overestimated the attraction of Battle Royale. You've got Fortnite, you've got PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the original.
Yeah.
You don't need a Call of Duty version, so nobody bought it specifically for that. There's a Zombies mode. Nobody buys this game for the Zombies mode. I hated the Zombies mode. Other people like it, but nobody buys it just for that.
No.
So those two modes are gone. So they're left with single player and multiplayer, and they've banked on people, as I said, buying it for the other two modes, which they didn't do, or buying it just for the multiplayer. So they got rid of single player campaign. I think they massively underestimated the number of people that ended up playing the multiplayer because they bought it to play the single player. And as soon as they saw the single player being removed, because they played both the single player and the multiplayer, and replaced with Battle Royale, which they didn't want, and Zombies, which they don't care about, I think the people thought, well, they've just half the amount of stuff I can do, I'm not buying it anymore.
Right.
I think they completely misjudged the market.
Sounds like it.
They must have thought the vast majority... What they've done is looked at it and realised that 90% of people play the multiplayer and 70% of people never play the single player.
Yeah.
But that means 30% of people are playing single player. And they've obviously assumed that the people who play both are happy to just play the multiplayer. And I think they've totally misunderstood, one, how people need to... They need the single player to practice the mechanics. But secondly, some people just enjoy a single player. And if it's not there, they're not going to play. So I think that they've lost a chunk of sales because they misattributed people who play both as people who would happily buy the multiplayer and not people who would be disgusted by a loss of single player. Because there's people like me, I only ever played the single player. But there's people who did both. And they might either have thought, well, I played the multiplayer, but I really enjoyed the single player, so there's no point. Or, I'm not paying that amount of money for a game, like 60 quid for a game that only has multiplayer.
Yeah.
That's not
That's
ridiculous,
doing that. Yeah.
If I want to do that, I'll buy Overwatch.
Uh-huh.
A game that's properly designed to be multiplayer only. I just think that they've misattributed what the players wanted, and they've also walked into battlefields, as it were, genres with the Battle Royale, Zombies and multiplayer that they just they weren't equipped for.
Yeah.
I think if you want to solve the Call of Duty problem, you have to make an amazing campaign that people are raving about in reviews, not the multiplayer. I'll put it this way. This is a yearly release, right?
Yeah.
Halo 5 just became 3 years old. I'm still playing it. I'm still playing the multiplayer. I haven't played the single player, I still play the multiplayer. Nobody plays... if you've got a yearly release of Call of Duty, nobody's playing a Call of Duty game for 3 years.
No.
Or they are, and you've not sold them the next one. I think they're in a terminal decline of misattributing their player base, not supplying anything that people are interested in, having boring multiplayer compared to Halo, which has way more interesting and flexible multiplayer, and it's just it's boring, it's repetitive, it's the same as previous games, and the one aspect of these games which can be different is the story, and they've got rid of it. They've tried to put a story mode in Zombies. No. People don't want it. People don't care. People aren't interested. And I genuinely think that they've completely misinterpreted what people wanted.
Sounds like it. Definitely sounds like it from what you've said.
They've tried to change it up. It's in terminal decline. They need to change it up. But it looks like they've just done the wrong thing to do it.
That's a shame.
No, it isn't. They deserve it. I don't like war games without a campaign and not like that because it misattributes the lessons of war. But and also remember they chose to get rid of it. They built a single player campaign and chose to throw it away.
Yeah.
So they did this to themselves, and it would be interesting to see the exact numbers to see if this is just a year-on-year decrease and what they did had no effect, or if the people who left were an even bigger drop because people were annoyed there was no single player.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was just a year-on-year decrease and you've made the huge change of getting rid of single player and doubling down on your multiplayer, when multiplayer was the sole reason people were playing and you still haven't got people to buy, you're in trouble. I think Call of Duty has gone from being a gamer's game to a part-time gamer's game.
Yes, sounds like it.
And that's not... I think that's terminal. For a franchise that big, I think it's terminal if they're declining like this. I'd love to see this in some of EA's franchises, to be honest. I'd love to see it. Activision deserves
Right,
this.
shall we maybe just... Okay, last week there was a lot of EA hate. Shall we just skip over the EA hate for this week?
Right, well, how about you give
Because
me...
I think the listeners are probably sick and tired of hearing about the EA hate.
Okay.
We get it, Tommy doesn't like EA.
Don't like a lack of respect for gamers. Anyway, you
Pat
give me
on
your
shoulder.
opinion on it. Thank you. You give me your opinion on the story. On what you think might be causing it.
I think it's probably, like you say, nobody's going to keep paying. Is there a big difference each year with the amount of money people have to pay for these games? Is it going up? Or is it pretty constant? I mean,
I reckon it was 45, maybe 50 quid, maybe 55 for 3, Call of Duty 3. That might just be the price it is now, but it would have been about that range, 45 to 55 before.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Now it's about 60, 65.
I would not be paying either the same amount or even more for a game which is basically a game I just bought last year.
Because it's the same.
Because it's the same thing.
It feels like exactly. I mean, they change small things like how you can get around the place and stuff, but that's not the point.
No.
You know, that's not it.
Just on point.
No, I
Save
mean,
yourself 60 quid. Go do something else.
Yeah, I mean, Halo has saved itself by having really good gameplay mechanics that are fun. You know, but how do you co-op a story that doesn't exist?
I don't know.
Exactly. In Halo, you can play cooperatively, you can play multiplayer, you can play custom games, you can make your own maps and games, game types. They've really invested in their ability to do lots of different things. Now, Call of Duty's just, here's your this, here's your that, here's your next thing. Buy our game and play it for 10 minutes because you don't really care about games.
No.
It's just, from what I've seen, the gameplay mechanics are very similar. There's obviously little changes, different weapons. They moved it forward into the future at one point where there was space travel. So there's lots of different things. There's lots, there's things like grappling harnesses, jetpacks, that sort of thing. But they're tiny little changes. If your base game is not fun, that's not going to help. You know?
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough. And the simple fact of the matter is that when it came to playing the single player, it was the quality of story that made you want to play all of the games.
Yes.
If you take away that, you're totally banking on people just wanting the next Call of Duty for no real reason other than it's the next one. And I think that's what's costing Call of Duty.
I would agree. So shall we move on now that we've had the Call of Duty section?
The Call of Duty post-mortem. The last story of the day is the Waylanders Kickstarter campaign. I heard about this game a couple of days ago. It's a Kickstarter campaign, obviously on Kickstarter. The URL link will be under the video, so you can check it out yourselves. It's a game that they're making at the moment, based on... It's inspired by Dragon Age Origins, and it's a time-travelling RPG, and I think it moves between ancient Celtic areas and sort of pre-Renaissance Britannia.
Yeah.
I think. I had to quickly write some of this stuff down in my brain before we did this, so I might misremember some of it. There seems to be a lot of player agency in it. You know, lots of different races, character classes, powers you can select from, all that sort of jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's inspired by Dragon Age Origins, a game I absolutely adore, I really want to see this game made and have a chance to play it. It's got some pretty good reviews, because obviously some of the game is currently made, I think.
Yes.
So there's like a pre-alpha stuff. And from what people have said, people who, you know, in the gaming reviewers and journalists, they seem very interested in it. So it's going through its Kickstarter campaign. I think it needs 126,000 and it's got 40 just now, or 100,000, it's got 40. So I thought we'd give it a wee advertisement for all 4.5 of our listeners. I just very much want to see this game made and see what we get from it. It is a case of, I think, if they don't meet their Kickstarter target, it's not made.
Yes.
So I'm desperate to see it made. So after the disappointment that we had with
KOTOR.
Aperon,
Yes.
I really would like to see this made, because it looks really interesting. And there's other games which relied on Kickstarters that are coming out, like Phoenix Point. Remember we spoke about Phantom Doctrine and Phoenix Point? Phantom Doctrine was the rubbish one, Phoenix Point was the good one, the sci-fi alien one. And I really want to see that when it comes out. So if there's you can make a lot of cool stuff on Kickstarter, with Kickstarter campaigns.
Yeah, you can, definitely.
So I really want to see this made, so I thought we'd give it a wee plug.
Okay. Well, if you'd like to go, like Tommy, if you'd like to go support it, like Tommy said, it'll be in the description down below, the link for it.
Yep. I would like to see this made.
It'll be really nice for Tommy. Do it. It'll be a nice Christmas present.
Most of this is my family members. They'll donate 20 quid and then not give me a Christmas present.
That will give you an excuse.
No,
that will give you an excuse to not do it.
Hennessy.
You never use the Christmas presents I give you. I find that very annoying.
Good.
I got you a sciencey one, I got you a gaming one, and you've not used either.
Any thoughts?
I've got no real thoughts because I don't really know anything about it.
You can check it out yourself.
I will check it out. Yeah, I'll have a go and have a look.
Feedback next week.
Yes, I will. So, is that all for today, Tommy?
Well, that's everything for this week's ShadowCast. We hope you enjoyed yourself. It was packed full of jam. And
yes, thank you so much for joining us.
If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe below. Any comments you've got, you can leave in the comment section. You can also follow us on Facebook at overshadow.shadowcast, and you can contact us through email at
overshadow@gmail.co.uk.
No.
Damn.
It's overshadow.shadowcast at gmail.com. So basically every part of that was wrong.
I'm so sorry.
The links and descriptions are below. And again, thank you very much, Abigail.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me back.
No problem.
Because you wouldn't be able to record this without me.
Yes, and thank me for having me back.
Yes, thank you for coming back.
There won't be any words if I wasn't here. So I hope you enjoyed yourself, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, bye guys.
Bye.